Hey guys, Zero here, and today I want to discuss with you guys the issues that I have with SteelSeries. And as some of you guys may be aware, whenever I make my Minecraft videos, I actually do end up using a Bluetooth controller, and this one in particular is actually the SteelSeries Stratus XL. But as you can probably tell by the context, I have issues with, well, maybe not necessarily the controller, although admittedly that is part of it, but rather the actual company that actually ended up making it, which is obviously SteelSeries. And so I kind of want to go ahead and discuss this with you guys. And for those of you wondering, this is actually why I've not been uploading near as often as I used to. Not that it really matters in the context of this scenario, but figured I'd mention it. So let's go ahead and first start off where things kind of like started, like near the beginning of my channel. So I've always used Bluetooth controllers to play Minecraft because I use my phone and it's a lot easier than touch controls, but you know what, fine. So essentially I had what was called the SteelSeries Free, which first off, that controller is no longer available, although admittedly I haven't actually looked around. I do know for a fact back at the time that this issue occurred, it had been discontinued regardless. Essentially, the SteelSeries Free was a miniature controller that, technically speaking, I can actually fit into my pocket. I would actually take it with me to several different places. It was perfectly fine. I had an issue with that particular controller where the joysticks actually got loose and I wasn't actually able to, like, move up forward near as fast as I would like to in Minecraft, which is a little bit of an issue. I would actually argue that that was my own fault because I was constantly putting the controller in my pocket, which is fine. I'm not going to complain about that. I got that replaced, got an upgrade to the Stratus XL, and I thought when I first got the Stratus XL, it was actually a really decent controller, but as time went on, I started thinking otherwise, and now I'm at this point where I think that is a very bad controller, all things considered, which, before I go any further, not available on the market, at least as far as SteelSeries, the company, is concerned. They said they have discontinued it. If you find it elsewhere, great, but SteelSeries is not supporting this particular model anymore. So, anyway, let's go ahead and continue where I actually had the story. I actually did end up having issues with it. I don't remember all the issues I had with them, but I will say that I actually had them replaced more times than I can actually remember, and even if I did, it's more times than I would like to admit regardless. But yeah, however, what I will say is that more recently I've been having issues with it, and I actually did make a video a few months back on the fact that I actually did have to replace it, and the reason why I had to replace it then is actually an issue with the L2 and R2 triggers, which I actually do have issues with right at this moment. There's actually another issue that I will discuss a little bit later, but let's stick with this for now. The issue with the L2 and R2 triggers is that, and by the way, I found out that apparently there are people online, after doing some research, that have had the exact same issue that I have had, so do keep this in mind. Essentially, what would end up happening is that, first off, it would actually give multiple inputs on a single press. In my particular case, as you guys know, I play Minecraft. In my case, that means that it will actually cycle through my hotbar multiple slots just from a single press, which, if I'm trying to get a very specific block or item in order to build or do something else with, obviously that makes it a bit of a nightmare to try to get. I actually do remember having to go back and forth multiple times just to get whatever it was that I was trying to get. It was very trial and error, and very annoying trial and error at that. And so I got it replaced with a completely brand new one. Not 2 months later, I started having the exact same issue yet again, which that is definitely a problem. I did actually end up making a video in regards to that, and I said that I had some really good customer service, and I will stand by that. But the replacement obviously had the exact same issue that I had before, which definitely is an issue. And so I ended up contacting them again about the issue, explaining the situation, saying, hey, I got a replacement. such and such time ago. It's having the exact same issue as the previous one. Is there a chance you could look into it, see if maybe there's a manufacturer defect? They came back with a message saying, sure, we'll look into it. Month goes by, nothing from them. And I decided to message them again saying, hey, I contacted you a month ago regarding this particular issue. Are there any updates? And they said, sorry, we do not support the actual SteelSeries S XL anymore. So effectively, they completely ignored the fact that I had mentioned that there was an issue, and they didn't even bother looking into the issue itself. So that's the first flag that I have with them. So then next up, they said they could potentially replace it, but at the current point in time, the SteelSeries had Stratus XL was no longer being sold. I did look on their website. It was still available for purchase, but they told me that they will be getting rid of it from the site very soon. And I said, you know what? I'm kind of hesitant to do it, so if there's like another way around it, we could. And eventually got to the point, you know what? I don't really have much of another choice. Let's do this. And then they came back and told me, we're sorry, we cannot do the action that we said we would previously do because your warranty is expired. There's my second red flag, because I've had the SteelSeries Stratus XL, I don't know how long, pretty much the majority of the time on my channel, and I kind of do understand the fact that the warranty would expire, but it seems all too convenient that it expires the moment I start saying that it actually does have the issues that it does, and that is also combined with the fact that they said absolutely nothing. So they completely ignored the fact that there was actually any form of manufacturing defect. And after I found out that the warranty was expired, I looked online to see if there's like any tutorials that people have done on self-repairs, because admittedly, warranties for various different things tend to get voided if you actually end up taking it apart and doing repairs yourself. But in this particular case, I had already lost my warranty to expiration, so I didn't think I was going to void anything. So I went and did it. I'm not going to go into technical details on how I actually went about repairing it. However, I will say that for whatever reason, it seemed to only be temporary. I've done, I don't know how many repairs over and over again just to eliminate this issue, and it just keeps coming back. But that's not the only issue I have with the Stratus XL. I do have another issue which I was unfortunately not able to find too much information. I did find some reports of the issue I'm about to mention on Windows, but I actually play on Androids and I couldn't find any information on that. And that's the fact that I actually have input lag. And this is actually the number one reason why I have not been uploading very often recently, is because this is a very serious issue. I could probably deal with like having to constantly repair. In fact, I've actually had to remap some of my buttons just for the hotbar itself to try to avoid this issue. But if I have input lag, that doesn't really help. It's like a 1 to 1.5 second input lag delay. So that's definitely an issue regardless of what you're trying to do, because it's kind of hard to predict what you're trying to do. Anyone who plays any form of game knows that input lag is definitely an issue. The weird thing about this is that it seems to be like sporadic. Like some days I will boot up Minecraft and I have no lag whatsoever, and other days it is insanely bad. I mean, admittedly I just said a 1 to 1.5 second delay, but still, you guys get my point. So, the third red flag that I had with SteelSeries is obviously the fact that they had gotten rid of it, and, well, at this point in time, I can't say I recommend SteelSeries, like, at all for any form of reason whatsoever, because let me go ahead and say that what they actually make is gaming products like keyboards, headset, mice, and obviously controllers, but because of the bad experience that I had with their products, and the fact that they were unable to actually do anything about my issue regardless, I can't recommend them for any product whatsoever. There was a time that I actually did, because they have good customer service, and I will stand by that 100%, but there's no point in supporting the fact that they have good customer service if they are unable to address the issue that you have with your product or service that they are providing for you. And that's why I don't want to deal with SteelSeries at all ever again, because they should have at least addressed the fact that they knew that there was an issue and they actually ended up doing something about it. Something else I want to go ahead and mention that is that every single time I actually end up having an issue with the actual Stress XL itself, they did not send me a refurbished replacement. They sent me something completely brand new in box product, which on one hand I can understand, but on the other hand, I want to assume that what they did is they take the product that people complain are having issues and throw them out. This is obviously just speculation, but considering the fact that every single time I've ever gotten a replacement, it has always been a completely brand new in-box with not like any sign of alterations whatsoever. So like I said, only speculation, but that's what I want to assume is going on. And I am actually going to be looking into potentially getting another controller sometime in the future. As of right now, I'm still looking at it. But until I actually get a decent replacement, one that doesn't really have near as many issues, or technically speaking, until I actually get a replacement, I should technically say, because I don't actually necessarily know what I'm getting until I look at stuff. Unfortunately, videos are going to be a lot more sporadic. I mean, pretty much as sporadic as they have been recently, obviously. But I will still try to upload as much as I can, provided, well, issues don't arise. But yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and get this out of the way, because this is definitely a serious issue as to why I can't do a whole heck of a lot. And if you guys want to get yourself a controller, like I said, don't go after SteelSeries. In fact, if you want any sort of gaming problem whatsoever, do not go after SteelSeries, because this is absolutely unacceptable. The fact that they can't do anything right in this particular regard. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video to let you guys know what's happening in regards to this particular situation. And yeah, see you guys later.